So now that I have a document that's it's attached to jQuery, it's also attached to, or rather specifically linked to your own personal script that's going to execute jQuery functions. Well, I need to do something more useful than a little alert message that's telling me that jQuery's on. So what I'm going to show you now is how to target certain elements on the page. And I'm going to start by simply targeting some of these. Well, here's the effect. Hold on, let me go the big picture. I want every other one of these dictionary terms and dictionary descriptions to have a different color background. So that way when the user is looking over all these terms, as this list gets longer and longer, it's easy for them to navigate. Now obviously I could use some CSS to kind of give all this some more spacing and some line height and all that good stuff, which I also plan to do later. But for now, all I want to do is have every other term, dictionary term and description, have something visual to separate it from the previous one. So I'm going to change the background of it. So I need to go into my script.js file. And over there, if you look at what I already have in there, it's that alert message, and that's a good guide for this sort of the syntax we're going to use. Obviously, alert is a function, and then inside of that function, in a single quote, you have what the message is going to be. Now, I don't really want this to pop up every time, obviously, so I'm going to just comment that out with two forward slashes. I'm going to start a new line, and now I'm going to target the specific tags in my document. So let me start with the $, a parenthesis, and a single quote. And now what do I want to target? Let me target my DT, my dictionary term. And then I'll put another single quote and I'll close it. So now it's all in there. It's cool. Now I actually want to add a function to it, right? So once I hit the dot, what function do I want to add? Well, one of the functions in jQuery is just the CSS function. So I'm going to do CSS, and then I'm going to start it again just like I did this part over here, except not the $. I'm going to put another parenthesis, single quote, and then I'm going to type in background dash color. I'm going to put a quote, I'm going to put a comma, and I'm going to put pound, let me say FFF, and single quote, parenthesis, semicolon. Okay, I know that's a lot, but let's look at things that we actually, oh, wait a second, I forgot to put a single quote here. There we go, because now it all looks good. So let's look at exactly what this function is going to do. First off, with this part of the line right here, we're targeting the DT, the dictionary term. Now, once we've actually got that dictionary term, what are we going to do to it? So followed it by a period, and CSS is the function. And inside of that function is the parameters of that function. And you guys, looks familiar to you. You know, background color is a CSS property, and this pound FFF is the color. I'm going to go back. I'm going to save it, and let me. I'll just preview the page locally before I commit to sending it up. Did it do FFF? So here again, look what I'm doing. I'm going to Firebug. I'm going to go to HTML, and I'm going to look in here to see if it added to these DTs. I guess it did. Look. But what's FFF? FFF, I think, is white. Yeah, well, that was not a good color when your background color is white. What I'm looking at Firebug over here is I see that it actually, I didn't put this in my code to have an inline style over here of background color, right? But it actually applied it. So maybe I need some. Let me try a different color. CC see. There we go. Now you see what it actually did? So now this thing targeted every DT on there. Anytime it found a dictionary term element, it applied this gray background color to it. And you saw how I looked at Firebug. See, I made the background color white. To tell you honestly, I don't have those hex colors memorized, but I made the background color white, which is useless when your other part is white. But I did see that Firebug is telling me like the live effect of what's going on over here is that actually these things are getting that style applied to it inline. So that looks pretty good. And this is really this is a very simple tag, but it's the genesis of things that could get a lot more complicated.